Hello for Majida news platform. Today I have a very special guest named Tula. Tula is someone who I met in Peru almost now 10 years ago. And she, I realized already then, was the most probably otherworldly person I know. She's a shaman, she's a healer, she's a mystic, she's my great friend, and an amazing advisor. And since this program, The Stories of the Strange, is dealing with different perspectives and different types of people and their vision of the world, I thought today would be a very special opportunity to bring someone who definitely speaks and sees the other dimension to give us a sort of not only discussion about who she is, but also how she sees the world at this moment. So, Tula, thank you for joining us. Again, we're on some sort of international virtual platform. You're in Adelaide, Australia. I'm in Zagreb, Croatia, and we're being filmed through Italy. So what a crazy world we are in. So I know a lot of people, first the concept of what is a shaman? I mean, what exactly is it to do? Maybe that's the first thing we should sort of clear up before we get going.
Yes, absolutely, Gail. Well, thank you for welcoming me on this beautiful platform on this gorgeous day. It is the 12th of the 12th, which is an amazing cosmic Stargate opening day, which we may talk about later if we get a minute, but it is a very auspicious occasion to be communicating and connecting with the world at large, and it's my pleasure to be here. I'm glad you asked me about what a shaman is, because in the Western culture we have no idea, and that's understandable because in the Western culture there really isn't many shamans, okay? So often when I'm out and about in my journeys, in my shopping, people are very drawn to my energy and vibration, and they always ask me, what do you do? And I think, oh, here we go. And I say, I'm a shaman, and they go, what's that? So then I have to go into the explanation. So a shaman is a very special person in any community, okay? We've lost our connection from community and earth-based medicine in the Western culture because of technology, conditioning, dogmatic religions, so many levels and layers of stuff. But in every single Indigenous culture on this planet, including Australia and including most Western cultures, there is an Indigenous background. They have what they call a medicine man or a medicine woman, which is in essence a shaman, okay? And back in the day, the shaman would live a couple of kilometres out of the village, out of the community, in the forest. And I understand why, even in the Western sense, because they figured if people are willing to walk there and back, they've got a serious issue. So the shaman connected them to healing, plant medicine, spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge, prophecy, and really deep connection to the earth, okay? So as a shaman, we connect to the earth and the energies and the frequencies of Divine Mother, and we recognise that we are one in the same as Mother Earth. You know, we are part of the web of life. It's only in the Western culture that we've decided we're separate to that, and we've become toxic, and we've become sick and depressed, and we've disconnected from the soul and the spirit that is Divine Mother Earth, okay? As a shaman, my mission in life is to let people know there's a place for both. I'm not saying we have to go back to rudimentary living, but what we don't realise is the connection of the earth and the frequencies of the divine earth is priceless, and it feeds our soul and it feeds our spirit, and it brings us so much joy that the most materialistic thing in the world cannot even come close. So a shaman was someone that the community would come to for guidance and wisdom and knowing. Everything is frequency, everything is alive. Trees are alive, the birds, the bees, the flowers, the butterflies. They connect to us and they speak to us when we look and when we pay attention, okay? So we connect to the inner earth and we connect to the frequencies and vibration of Mother Earth. Science has already proven that the earth has a consciousness and the earth has a heartbeat. And when we connect to that and we honour that, then we become one with the Divine Mother. Okay, and what we've done in the Western culture, unfortunately, is we've polluted her, we've raped her, we've put chemicals on her, we've dug her up, and she is screaming and she is crying now. This is why we have disease and illness and so many things going on in the Western culture. And I mean, I'm soon, as late as a decade ago, climate change was conspiracy theory and woo-woo, and now everybody acknowledges it. So it's about waking up and knowing we are part of the earth, not separate to the earth. And as a shaman, we also connect to the stars and what's beyond and multi-dimensions. And every ancient indigenous culture on this planet has always spoken that through writing, hieroglyphs, cave paintings. They've always had a connection to the star people, and they've always had a connection to Mother Earth. So a shaman, in essence, brings us back to our sacred self, our own divinity, and knowing that we are part of that and not separate to that. And the joy and the wisdom that comes with vibrating that way, there isn't a thing on this planet or $1 million that could actually be better than that. So a shaman really connects deeply with what's going on with each individual and everyone on the planet. So it is just a beautiful way to live. And my mission in life is to get everyone to feel it, know it, believe it, and trust in it, and be happy in a way they never imagined they could find happiness and joy in their life.
Well, I feel that a lot of the sickness in the world right now and this disconnection and this balance, which I feel is manifesting through things like COVID, the different type of sort of constrictions we have, is part of this disconnection we've had with nature. I mean, we've pretty much enslaved as much of the animal kingdom as we could, or exterminated it.
Yes.
We have lost connection. I mean, I find it very interesting how, for example, in the US, there's a sacred site, but someone else, politicians, see it as a real estate opportunity. So this sort of complete loss of actual perception of what is sacred, what is the wealth of this planet. We have shifted it into sort of material wealth versus realizing that the trees, the oceans, that's the real that's the real energy we should be aspiring to be a healthy planet and healthy people. Now, what I'm wondering, today is sort of a very special day, 12/12, December 12th, and you were telling me previously that this is a portal. So what exactly is a portal and what is happening today? And then I want to ask you about something as we see the world in a very strange predicament. How do you see this shift that's happening right now?
Sure.
So, okay, one, the next.
Absolutely. I read this very interesting meme in the middle of the first lockdown, and it said, it feels to me like Mother Earth has given us all a slap on our wrists and told us to go to our rooms and think about what we've done. And when you think in that lockdown how quickly the earth started to rejuvenate, to breathe, to become clearer and cleaner on so many levels, shows you how much damage we've done to the planet by our constant consumerism and our insatiable need to feed that at higher and higher and higher levels. Absolutely, if we just took a step back and connected to our source and our basic selves, all the animals, all the trees, they work with the cycles of life, they take but they give back. So a bee might suck pollen, but then it repollinates other trees. We always, as humans, we just take and take and take and take and take. And what's happening now is the planet's going, excuse me, you can't keep doing this, If I die, you die, And the reality is we could all be wiped off the planet tomorrow and Divine Mother Earth will rejuvenate and keep thriving. So it's really important for us to take stock of what's going on and what role we can play to be positive and give back to the planet and feel so good about doing exactly that, And so what I want to say to you about portal days, all throughout the history of mankind, and it's been written in ancient texts and everywhere, there are special energy high vibrational days where a magical portal and gateway opens up from above and brings in light and enlightenment to the planet and healing to every sentient being, from the trees to the animals to the humans. And that is a time for us to activate and raise our vibration and become more conscious and connect to our God spark and our God source. So when a portal opens up, we might feel a bit wobbly and hazy and daisy, and that is because we are being downloaded and activated to our higher pure state. As human beings, we have a consciousness. We all know that. Okay, we don't tap into our consciousness enough because we get caught up in smartphones, tablets, television, technology, anything to distract from what is really going on within us. We don't look at clearing our wounding and our trauma, and part of clearing that is we become activated, more conscious, and how we relate to the world and each other is so important. You know, we have to be kind to ourselves in order to be kind to other people. We have to be conscious of our words, what we say, how it affects others, how it affects those around us, the planet. We've really shut down from doing that. And part of this time is huge transition. I mean, my website was called Intense Transformation because that's what the planet's going through right now. And this has been written in ancient scripts thousands of years ago, that a time will come on the planet when we have abused and used it so much and been so disconnected from our heart and our consciousness that what will happen is intense transformation. And sometimes we have to be slapped really hard to wake up and turn things back around. So this is a time of intense transformation, and I got that from my higher self and my inner knowing about a year ago. I've had hundreds and hundreds of people beg me to start a website. And I like to do the bigger picture work and the healing of the earth and the planet and gather in ceremony with people. And that's just like-minded people, no cults, no religion, nothing like that at all. It's about connecting human to human, heart to heart, and meditating and praying and the healing of the earth and the power of prayer, okay? So by creating this website, it's called Intense Transformation because I was told 2020, for the next 3-4 years onwards, the whole planet's going to go through intense transformation and awakening and changing the way we vibrate, changing the way we pollute the earth, being more respectful, and people need guidance and help around that. And it is not really hard. It's about going back to your heart and listening to your heart. Weird thing to say, and I know most people out there are going, what? But listening to your heart means your heart knows when something is not right, when you behaved inappropriately. Your heart knows when somebody else is hurting and you can do something to make a difference, whether it's an animal, whether it's a tree, whether it's a human being. When you listen to your heart, nothing can stop the world from healing. And if we all do that as a collective, as a human race, we can turn this planet around and create what is known by many spiritual wise people, from the Dalai Lama to so many other magical people out there. We can create the new earth, okay? So the new earth is about vibrating in a way where there is no poverty, no struggle, no murder, no, this horrible pedophilia, no human trafficking. All that stuff is real, but we pretend it's over there somewhere and nothing to do with us. But it makes the earth toxic, and it makes the energy of the earth toxic, and it makes the earth sad, and it makes us sad. We can clear all of that stuff and vibrate with kindness, love, generosity, equality of all human beings, and equality of all sentient beings, not just humans. The trees are our equals, the birds are our equals, the butterflies are our, all these beings, they're not beneath us. Actually, they're our teachers because they respect the earth. They give back to the earth. They work with the cycles of the planet. I observe these animals and send them so much love. And because I'm in my heart and in my pure space, they come to me. They sit with me. Wild animals, sick animals come to me for healing because they see I'm in my heart, I'm in my pure space, and they come to me for comfort and healing. And to me, that is the biggest honour and the biggest joy that I can't even put in words that it brings to my soul and spirit.
Well, this is the moment where I perceived you weren't just anybody. In Peru was when I started realizing that wild animals in the Amazon were coming to greet you, and I was seeing it and realizing I wasn't hallucinating. So that was definitely one of the things that made me realize you're vibrating on another level. One thing which I find very interesting about what you say, and I've heard other people who are shamans or, very sort of spiritual people speak in very similar terms to, for example, Nikola Tesla, who are discussing vibration, frequency. So, the time is our essence and it's going very fast. But I was wondering if you could explain to me this 21st of December, 2112. What does it mean, this transformation of frequency, which you've been explaining to me, and how the Earth we're currently in a three-dimensional reality where everything has a material form. And what does it mean that this transformation to a higher frequency, like for dummies, can you give us the one-on-one?
Yes, I will try my best to explain it in layman's term. So like I explained to you, like 12/12 is a stargate opening and a portal day, and we have different portal shifts and dates, and they actually combine, believe it or not, with astronomy, not astrology, but astronomy. Often when there are spiritual people that are saying these are powerful days, you'll find in astronomy extraordinary things happening up in the sky. And on the 21st of December, there is a massive, and it's been all over the news, mainstream news everywhere, there is a huge Jupiter and Saturn conjunction that happens 800 years ago, back in the medieval times, okay? And Saturn and Jupiter are coming so close that they're going to look like they're one big giant star. Some people have called it, nicknamed it the Star of David, okay? So that is happening on the 21st of December, which so many of us spiritual, esoteric people have been talking about for months and years, okay? So it's not a coincidence, I promise you, okay? So what's happening on that day is really powerful. Enlightenment is coming into the planet, okay? Enlightenment of self, life, the earth, anything that has meaning, that gives us breath and oxygen and the beauty of nature, rejuvenation. So what our Aboriginal people here in Australia are calling it, our Indigenous Aboriginal people, is they're calling it the magic box. Now, they've had this in their law, not LAW, as in, you know, litigation law, as in LORE, which is spiritual law, okay? And they've had this law for thousands of years. On this day, on this time, in this year, there is a big magic box. They're calling it the magic box because it's so hard to quantify what it is. So it is a massive portal of energy and light that's sitting above the earth right now, because the earth needs healing more than ever, because the earth does have an aura, and it's been proven by science again, okay, and quantum physics. And because of all the pollution and all the negativity, the aura is really sick, especially with EMFs, Wi-Fi's, and watch out if 5G comes out. Oh my God, because that's killing the energy field of the planet, which we need to survive. And we don't seem to care or ignore it or believe it's fake news. It's real, you know. And so this magic box, what's going to happen on the 21st of December, which is also the solstice and the big conjunction, is a whole group of beautiful, esoteric, spiritual people are going to get together and do a powerful meditation and a heart connection to opening this magic box, okay? It is for humanity to open this magic box. It is not for any external sources to do it, because we as a race with consciousness and God's source in us, and we all have, I don't care what you believe God is, it's not important. It is just this powerful, omnipresent, divine energy that has no agendas, no judgments, nothing like that, okay? And we all have the God source within us. By connecting and meditating to opening this magic box, it creates a rainbow bridge from above directly into the earth and the ley lines and grids of the earth, which rejuvenates, heals and awakens the planet. And as we walk on the planet, it goes through our frequency and our body, and it rejuvenates and awakens us. So it is like a grand awakening. Doesn't matter how awake or asleep or extremely advanced you are, you will receive what you need for your frequency at this time and place. Enough to go, wow, that's enough. We need to stop pillaging the earth, and we need to start healing and taking care of the earth, and equally as important, of each other. There is no race, there is no religion, there is no creed, there is no nothing that matters anymore. We are all humans, and we all deserve peace, light and love on this planet, and harmony. So this really powerful day is going to be almost like the switch that starts spreading that way of living, being, thinking and connecting. So it is a very auspicious day indeed.
And so how long, Tula, we've been discussing? So for all the horoscope people, you might have a little bit deeper insight into this. So we've coming out of the age of Pisces, we've entered the age of Aquarius, and that is actually happening within a few years, the actual switch.
Yes.
So Aquarius is innovation, technology, humanity. So.
Yeah. And humanity and technology can work very well together. We can have free energy, the Telstar energy. It's not about us not having technology, but it's about having clean technology, smart technology, not being addicted to it, but it being something that we function with, not live for. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's simple as what I
So,
say to people is, just for a minute, put down your tablet, put down your smartphone, put down your Netflix, put down your social media, and look around you. Look at the birds, the trees, listen to the vibration of the earth, and I promise you that is going to feel you so much more than your distraction of technology. So it will be a different type of technology, and what I will tell you is it'll be beautiful, and everything is speeding up. So it has to speed up, because if we don't wake up soon, we're gone. And we won't be, I promise, but we will wake up in our own ways as we need to, and no judging of others whatsoever. The judgment of others and others' ways of being is so toxic to this planet. Just
well, that's very,
love each other
very,
for who you are. Love each other. Don't look at the person's features. Look at the person's eyes and listen to their magical words, and look at their heart space.
well, it's a lot for humanity to sort of absorb and get up into the program, considering what we're looking at now is,
Yeah.
we're sort of deforming ourselves as humans, pumping up lips, tits, this, that sort of, we've gone very much into this sort of visual superficial. So I wonder how many people can actually see beyond, through the heart. I guess that's something we have to, I guess, awaken. So I'm very optimistic with what you're saying. Thank goodness, because otherwise there are moments where I definitely, with all this COVID restrictions, changing of our behaviors, isolations, one gets very sort of depressed, concerned. I mean, for me, as someone who loves to travel,
To me, lockdown, there's a blessing in everything, and it's how you perceive. This is what I teach so many people. I teach in my teachings, my ceremonies, my healings. What your intention is everything. What you intend, you create, and what you perceive, you create. Okay. So to me, lockdown was beautiful in that people had to detach from their distractions. They had to look within and introspect. They had to own their feelings and their trauma, and you can't release what you won't acknowledge. And if you don't release your trauma, your fears, your worries, then you're never going to feel whole. The beauty of lockdown is so many people had to do that, and they had a deeper connection to family, to friends. They realised it's more important after lockdown to have that human contact, to look that person in the eye, not be on your phone while they're talking to you, to get more in touch with your grandmother, with your mum, with your dad that you hardly paid attention to because you're having so much fun with your friends or getting your Botox. So it created this awakening within itself that was quite magical. Also made society realise we don't need to be in our cars in peak hour traffic creating pollution, going to tall buildings. We can actually work from home, and I think the statistic was, I know in Australia, that 80% of people will continue to work from home and not pollute the planet and the earth. And then when we have moments of connection with somebody, we're going to appreciate it instead of whatever, like before, So it's made us wake up and realise what's more important in life. It isn't all that materialistic stuff you talked about, but it's the connection from one human to another. The amount of people that got a bond with their pets and their animals and appreciation was phenomenal, and I just thought these things were always here, but you were too distracted by what you needed to do on a technology sense to realise what's more important is living in the moment. And living in the moment is living where you are right now, smelling the earth, listening to that beautiful bird singing, you see that butterfly that just fly past you and how divine and stunning it is, all of that stuff. And when I see that kind of stuff, I just focus on that, and before I know it, that beautiful butterfly is sitting on my heart chakra because I've acknowledged her and I've told her how beautiful she is. And to have that moment of this beautiful animal sitting on you and honouring you with their presence, I would never get that if I was on my phone. Who cares about your phone? Yes, we have to use it to a certain degree. I'm not saying throw it away, but how about some balance? How about bringing it back to the beauty that is around you,
Well, this is probably part of the process, because since these new technologies, it's almost become like a drug. First it was a tool, now it's become our crutch. And I guess one has to get to the phase where you sort of are tired of always being online, virtual, and that's when you disconnect and start reconnecting with nature. I feel that we are sort of beyond our little time limit, but
of course we are. That's okay.
there's my dog is giving the final final sort of goodbye. But
Yeah.
Tula, I would love to have you at different sort of auspicious times and possibly to always be putting things in perspective. I have different types of guests, from artists to people dealing, ecologists, etc. Next week I'm going to have a very interesting woman dealing with loneliness and working actually with government. So very different perspectives. But
I work with loneliness too. What I say to people about loneliness is you could feel alone in a room full of 1,000 people, and yet you could feel so fulfilled by yourself. And loneliness is a state of mind and how much self-love you have and how much happiness and joy that resides within you. It's a beautiful way to be. Self-love is a hard one, but you know what? Once you disconnect and process and release, then self-love comes, and loneliness is just a non-existent reality. I love that you're bringing someone in for that, because this is why we distract so much in this world, is because we're scared of being lonely, and we don't really get to find out the essence of who we are and how beautiful and unique and amazing each and every individual out there is, because we avoid being lonely. But it's through that process that you get to love who you are and the magical gifts that exist within you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tula, so much for this insight. I hope your words will sink into different people and have them understand what they need to understand at this moment. Talk to you soon. Everybody have positive thoughts on the 21st and in general, but especially on the 21st.
Yeah, can I just say, everyone that wants to join in, they can. Doesn't matter if you don't think you're spiritual or you don't think you're awake, because you are and you just haven't realised it yet. All you need to do on that day is connect to your heart space and feel the love of your heart growing, and then connect to that magical portal, or the magic box as the Australian Indigenous people call it, opening up and just flooding the earth with a rainbow bridge and creating healing and awakening for the earth and for the planet. What they are saying is we need a minimum of 100,000 people to do this in order to open it. If we don't open it, we're going to be going through a lot of struggle and hardship for a long time to come. If we do open it, we're going to quicken the process. I think the Native American Indians call it the quickening. So a lot of amazing Indigenous cultures have different names for this, but it's all the same thing, and these people have been around for thousands of years, and their wisdom and their knowing and their connection to the planet is beyond words. So I'm very blessed to be in amongst that group of amazing people. So you know what, people, just do it on the 21st. Doesn't matter. Find yourself half an hour, take a few deep breaths, be in nature, be in your lounge, and just connect your heart to that magic box and that opening. Do it for yourself, do it for humanity, do it for the animals and the trees and all the forests and the earth. And know that you have contributed, and know that you are worthy and capable of contributing.
Brilliant.
So quiet, because we can talk for ages. Right.
Thank you, Tula, and talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Blessings, and I hope I haven't been too full on. I come from love and I come from pure light, and may you all have an amazing 21st of December.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Tula. Bye.
Bye.